well, there was a lot of controversy over that match against Japan with the amount of injury time that was played, and I know Morgan Williams very unhappy with that, and conceded that penalty in the final minute. So they'll want to put things right, and well, if they've been listening to the coach, you can expect a fairly physical encounter, can't you?
Yes. There's Rick Suggett looking on, and he's a lovely guy. He's obviously got known very well on the IRB7 circuit, and I think he's stopped now, but he never wore socks. And John Connolly and his multinational lineup of support. Allez les Wallabies. Finalist avec la France. Well, who knows? Mike James waits there. 34. Yeah, and after 5 caps until today, your 4th World Cup. The certainty that this is to be his last international game, despite all his earlier retirements, and the others with him, Rob Snow at 37 and John Thiel at 32, Morgan Williams at 31, all bowing out. You must, well, you've been there after so many caps, your last game, and you know it's your last game, huge emotions must come, regardless of whether you try to keep them back or not.
Well, yes and no. I think, these guys, I'm sure they'll take a very professional attitude towards it, and they'll be focusing on the match. And really, it's only when the final whistle goes and you walk into that dressing room for the last ever time in a spirit of comradeship and teamship that it really begins to dawn on you, and that's when the emotional moment
what was your last one?
It was against Australia in 1992, yeah, many years ago, Nigel, but I was a young man then. I retired at 30.
You were 11.
These guys
okay, these guys, yes.
Rod Snow's got my career ahead of him.
Yeah, absolutely. He's gone on forever since capped, what, 1995. Extraordinary, really. And Mike James first capped in 1994. So, advance Australia fair and O Canada. The 2 anthems that we will hear first of all. And this is the Australian one. Where they say rugby was first played in 1864, their first international 1899 against the British team. And 3 survivors of the team that played in the final against England 4 years ago: Lyons, Smith and Nathan Sharp. Now, the anthem of Canada since 1880, O Canada. There, Glenella, who's been helping out with Rick Suggett and the Canadian side, and Serge Blanco there in the heart of the Tribune. Here's the Canada lineup then. As I mentioned, those three survivors of the World Cup final. David Lyons, George Smith and Nathan Sharp there in the second row. So a good body of experience with Ali Baxter there, and a pack with a lot of solidity about it. Interesting combinations out the back with Takiri, great finisher sometimes, but moving into the centre position, I'm not quite sure. Ashley Cooper out of the sevens into the midfield. Drew Mitchell, good finisher. Shepherd too. And Latham seems to have found a new lease of life.
Yes, he has, and he's been one of the standout players, I think, in this Rugby World Cup. It's been really, really good to see him. Such a potent attacking threat now for Australia.
Captain!
Chris White. Just waiting for the nod to go ahead. So 80 minutes to go in Pool B for Canada and Australia. Australia assured of their quarter-final, but it's Canada who want to go out with a display to do them justice. Knock on first offence.
Not the ideal start for Canada. You can see the rain coming down here in Bordeaux. Not ideal conditions. Giving away a little bit of weight in the scrum there.
So Tulsa Tollett, I hope you can hear me down on the ground. Didn't have time to speak just now, but how is it down on the ground? I mean, is this rain? I can't really tell from high up here how bad the surface is.
There's one thing, Nigel, that when you're on the Atlantic or anywhere near it, that when the wind stops blowing and the rain comes down, you are going to be waiting quite a while for it to stop. It is bucketing down here on the touchline.
Yeah.
And I don't think it's going to get much better for at least this first half. It looks like it's settled in. But just on the subject of Rick Suggett, I know you're a very good friend of his. He did tell me to tell you that he won't be wearing shoes during the match.
There you go. Sort of these extraordinary bits of, what do you call it?
Trivia.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
I'm sorry.
Irrelevant information.
First penalty. So, well, either a nerve-wracking moment, a nerve-calming moment. Julian has only played 8 times for Australia, but it's not exactly a newcomer. He's been around. He's a newcomer in terms of getting his first cap, but he's 28 and got 40 points against Fiji in his third test match, but limited experience. 3 conversions, 1 penalty. Oh, he's lucky today. That will just settle the nerves. And very respectful to take the penalty goal.
Well, I think it's important. I mean, Australia will just want to win this match. We talked last night in the England against Tonga game, the importance of momentum and continuity and consistency for teams. And you know, Australia, they've stuttered a little bit, as he said, in the match against Wales. But you know, they want to build on a good performance leading into the quarter-final weekend next weekend.
Yeah, next Saturday in Marseille.
Number one, go! Number one, you go! Number one, go! Let go! Let go! It's out, boys! It's out, boys!
It's Adam Freer.
Sorry, mate. Sorry, mate. Right, don't do that quicker next time, please. No, you again. Adjust. Thank you.
There's Mike James then. Well, conditions not what they would have hoped for, particularly I think Australia, but it can be a great leveller. And that, without being patronising, could be of assistance to Canada as Morgan Williams, canny player, puts up a good ball, and that might be a useful tactic in these conditions.
Yeah, I think definitely, and also to get the Australians turned. Big set of forwards, get them turned.
There's the Scotsman under Munro, born in Canada, but as David Sol proudly says, one of the products of his own native land and brought up there at school there, university there. And a good opening salvo from him. Went through all the Scotland junior representative sides too, didn't he?
Yeah, also a very talented cricketer.
Is he? Like you. You played the other day, you told me.
Yeah, I wouldn't put talented in front of my when you describe me as a cricketer, that's for sure, Nigel.
That's an impressive drive, and Canada reeling backwards. And Canada are being, well, they're just being carted out of this. They're just one after the other, and they've made, what, 45 yards or so more.
Number 1, come out! Number 4!
Just wonder if Canada shouldn't commit a few more players instead of standing off.
Well, it was a very well-constructed drive by Australia. Good body position, obviously communicating really well.
You came out and then you went back into the separate.
Hey, B, Baxter!
It's one of the fine arts of forward play.
It was interesting last night in the England-Tonga match. Tonga actually stepped off. England were driving. Tonga actually stepped off the line-out, which prevented England from driving in the second half.
Interesting, they'd obviously thought that one through.
Yeah, I just wonder if Australia continued like this, whether Canada might take a leaf out of the Tongan book, because that was a very well-constructed drive, and they drove, as you say, about 30 metres there.
Thank you.
Superb. So, they create a good platform here. Not tidy. McMenamin. Yeah, you probably heard Chris White say, not the most auspicious line-out.
These two gentlemen, thank you. Here's your mark. Second row.
Couldn't quite take it. Good interference there by Canada at the line-out, challenging for that ball.
Pause. Nobody said anything, that's both sides. Just relax and wait, gentlemen. Just relax and wait. Let's do it again, please. Come a touch closer. Second row's in, please.
Morgan
Stand
Williams.
up, please.
Well, he's
Australian second row. If you take that bind again, you will be penalised. You must bind with your second
52
row.
caps,
not
including
touch bind.
today.
You must
Lots
bind
of
with a lock.
advice here about the binding from Chris White.
Crunch. Touch. Pause. Engage.
Very commanding voice of Chris White in his third World Cup.
He's done it. He's done it.
Accordingly to Huxley.
Away, Red. Thank you, Red. That's good. Okay, you can't play that player in front of the ball. You've tackled him. You're obstructing. Number 13.
Takiri.
Leave it.
Is penalised
Gentlemen, move away.
for the
Number
obstruction.
13 tackled a player in the defence.
Just a little bit of indiscipline by the Australians. For Takiri here. It's been just before that, I think.
Yeah. Fijian born. Like some of New Zealand's best players. Notably a couple of wingers.
Well, I had a discussion in a previous match and got an email from South Africa about how these guys were perfectly within their rights. Like Takiri brought up in Australia.
Oh, it's quite true. They are within their rights according to the rules, just as Mike Catt plays for England.
Yeah. Or Andy Munro for Canada.
Or Andy Munro played for Canada. But it's just some of those South Pacific skills that New Zealand have harnessed so well. And of course, that's where they play their rugby and always have done. Not the perfection that Australia would have hoped for. Conditions difficult.
Well, just lack of momentum there.
There is.
I mean, in previous games, they've actually been putting a lot of pace, a lot of aggression on their ball carrier. Rocky Elsom in particular has been very good in the Australian back row, but that time very static.
Barnett's goal. See what's happened at the top. You see, gentlemen, the top of the jump, he's nudged it forward. He scrubbed goal this time. Top of the jump. That's fine, watch that.
Well, a rare chance for Canada to face one of the top nations in the world. They've not played Australia for 11 years. And you can understand why they want to be there, and
Yes, thank you very
been
much.
having this argument, or not argument, discussion with quite a lot of people over the last few days about how many teams do you want in a World Cup, and what does it mean when Australia play Canada or Japan or Namibia, Georgia.